Andy Katz with NCAA.com and March Madness with Kevin White, the Duke Athletic Director and the Chair of the 2020 Men's Basketball Selection Committee. And Kevin, now that we know the top 16 at this point in February, mid-February, for the 2020 Men's Basketball Tournament, a couple questions first that jumped out at me. Number one, on the one line, the 3-4 of the one line, Gonzaga, San Diego State. Why Gonzaga over San Diego State?
You know, Andy, that discussion was probably the longest discussion of our group, and we've got a terrific committee. We've got 6 ADs and 4 conference commissioners. I know you know that, plus an incredible NCAA staff, and we labored over that one. This one is really razor thin. But at the end of the day, you know, the Zags lost early on a neutral to Michigan, and of course San Diego State's unblemished and have had some great wins away from home. But when you look at the the metrics and everything else, the Zags kind of just won this one by a smidgen. Again, at this point in time, we'll have to see what the rest of the season brings. And by the way, there are like 1,500 games yet to be played.
Yeah, the other number ones, Baylor and Kansas. So 2 from the Big 12, 1 from the WCC, 1 from the Mountain West. How many other teams were in consideration for that top line at this time?
I think I can say honestly there weren't any others. I mean, I think the consensus was around those 4 and trying to determine the right order for that group of 4. Each and every one of them was very deserving to be on the number 1 seed line, and had the committee's absolute full attention for the 3 days we were together in Indy.
When you look at this 16, what else jumped out at you at this point in time with this collection of 16 teams?
You know, one of the things that caught my attention, there are 9 conferences represented in this group of 16, and I think a year ago that number was something like 6 conferences, and I think since we've kind of been keeping score in recent years at this point in the season, this is the 4th year that we'll have the preview, it's been more like 6 conferences. So when you take a look at that, it really speaks to parity. A lot of really good players and a lot of really good teams.
How does this reveal help you guys in terms of preparation for the real Champ Week and Selection Week?
You know, it kind of gets you back into play. You kind of get rusty. You're not behind that computer all day, and all of a sudden now you're back. And so for the 8 returnees that are in the room, I think it's incredibly helpful. And for the 2 new people that just came onto the committee, it's invaluable. It's priceless. But it's a great opportunity to kind of team play, get your heads around it, and kind of take a good hard look at the task at hand. And the task at hand is very simply to get it right.
Principles. There's always principles at play in certainly bracketing. But what principles might have been in play even in this process, or even what you think might play out next month?
You know, it's hard to kind of forecast what might play out as we go through the remainder of the season, 5 weeks. But I can tell you, as we went through this process with the 16 that we're talking about, I was amazed. It kind of bracketed itself pretty cleanly. We had to make an adjustment for balance, regional balance purposes, and that caused us to take an SEC team and relocate them again in this exercise to the South region, and the counter move to that was to take a Midwest team and put them in Indianapolis. It actually worked out very well.
Appreciate it, Kevin. We look forward to Selection Week.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks.